We get started, we want to welcome the people who welcomed us. Greeters, come on up this evening from Sumner High School. Yeah. I understand you're representing ASB, correct?
Yes.
All right, awesome. Go ahead and introduce yourselves
Okay.
and tell us something you're excited about for Sumner.
Okay, I'm Sophia Martinez. I'm a senior this year. I'm a part of cheer and ASB as an assemblies coordinator. I think my favorite part about Sumner is how much our teachers care for us, and they really care about your academics, but also who you are and want like you to become the best version of yourself. So that's something really special.
I'm Riley Norman. I'm also a senior and I'm on cheer, and I've been in the leadership courses and things like that throughout my years. And right now, like I'm planning the service conference, the leadership conference for all of Lake Washington. And I just really love the part about Sumner where they have something for every student, and it's not just like curriculum based. Like they're teaching us how to run like major conferences or like assemblies and like how to like get in touch with your community and stuff like that. So I think that's really cool.
I'm Parker. I'm Parker Paradis. I'm also a senior at Sumner this year. I'm involved in volleyball, tennis, and ASB as our other assemblies coordinator. One thing I love about Sumner is just like how much of a community we have built, and just like the support that we have from like everyone in here and like our teachers and support system at school in general.
My name is Vivian Smith, and I'm a junior at Sumner. I'm a part of cheer, and I'm the activities coordinator for ASB. And my favorite thing about Sumner is the inclusivity of the student body.
Awesome. Thank you, ladies, so much for being here this evening. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. All right. I move to adopt the agenda for the February 21st, 2024 board meeting with the following addendum. The addition of item 13, supplemental personnel recommendation to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda with that addition?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Do I have a motion to approve the consent items as listed?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
I second.
Any discussion?
Outside of the thank you for the very generous donations.
Yes, very much.
I mean, one of them was $9,000 for the robotics.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Thank you.
Agreed. The other thing that struck me was we're starting to get some retirements. This is the season, right, that those come in. And the longevity of people who serve this community and this school district. I mean, retiring after 30 plus years of education is just always something to note. So, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. All right. This is the fun part. Recognition of staff, students, and community.
Okay, we're going to kick it off with Marina Tanay, our manager of capital facilities. She has some special guests to recognize.
Dr. Dent, Board of Directors, I'm really excited tonight to bring members from Puget Sound Energy and from McKinstry, who I consider partners and teammates in these projects. I know you've heard me talk about our ESSER project and the recommissioning that we did with our buildings, and both of these organizations have hugely supported us. So Grant Granger from McKinstry, Chantal Sconzo, who is our account exec at PSE, and James Rowe, who is just an integral part of what we do in managing our energy consumption on a day-to-day basis. So when we started this project, I needled McKinstry and said, we need to apply for grants. I know they do recommissioning grants. I had no idea where it would go. So this is really exciting to share. Do you want to say something, James?
Oh. Yes, I'm hiding it. On behalf of Puget Sound Energy, Chantal and I would very much like to thank you for all the work
done a lot of hard work finding a lot of opportunities to improve the performance of buildings. And we have a check for a very large number. It begins with 3. And Marina, what's the total on that?
Yeah.
Yes,
We
we'll
can
show the audience too.
turn that around. So, yeah.
So this is to fund energy conservation efforts within the buildings district to make those changes and get things fixed and working
And
better.
as we prove those savings, we have the opportunity for more incentives. So we can have more money down the line. It's a very wonderful grant and a very big privilege. So thank you very much.
Yes.
But I think it's already deposited. No, it's okay. Thank you. Yeah.
The second recognition tonight, I'm actually going to present because, you know, throughout history, there have been great pairs of things, right? Batman and Starsky and, oh, I thought I might get you on that one. Bacon and, let's see if I can, 61 and, yes, Kelly Din is right. 61%, 64%. Those numbers do not happen with strategic leadership and a true dedication to public education. So the other incredible pair I would like to present to you tonight for board recognition, Bill Pugh and Joel Anderson. Come on up. You can stand right here, just for right now. Face the board. Yeah, and you know, truly, you're looking at 2 incredible leaders, strategic leaders in our community who stepped up, put their shoulders back and said, we believe in public education, and helped lead, run, organize, strategize, think about endless hours spent organizing the Yes campaign for the Sumner-Bonney Lake School District in our community. And because of all of the text banking, the canvassing, phone calling, knocking on doors, and actually talking to people, it's concept, right? Our levies passed with incredibly strong percentages that just reinforces the belief in this community. It's very rare when people will say, yes, we believe in public education and we're going to take a public stand in order to run not just one campaign, 2 campaigns. And they did so with grace and poise. And I'm telling you, the hours both of these gentlemen have spent have just will have a tremendous impact on so many kids for such a long time. One levy passed for 4 years, one for 6 years. But it's just been a pleasure watching them work together. They encountered a few hurdles that they gracefully overcame. And because of that, the Citizens for Schools is in such a great place, but truly could not have happened without their strategic leadership. Appreciate all of the hours they spent helping us pass those levies. So wanted to recognize them publicly in front of you and just publicly say thank you for all your work. Yeah. Absolutely. You still want to talk, huh? No. Of course. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Dent and board members. First of all, over, I won't say how many years, because I don't want to date myself that much, but this experience, you know, has meant probably ranks one of the highest in terms of my career. And it does is because of why it's so important. and that is the future that we have, which are our kids. So, and this guy's a rock star over here. He starts getting in and doing stuff, and I look at it and I had that confused look on my face. And I don't know how he does it and stuff, but I know he was doing that as well as his job, you know, as main legislative contact for his agency during session, a short session. So I can't average 4 hours of sleep either, like he did. And so incredible job. But more than that is that the message had to get out to the citizens who ultimately voted. And if you look at Dr. Dent and their communication staff and the communications job that they did in reaching out and explaining the facts behind each proposition, it was easy to take that information and go out to people and tell them what staff couldn't, and that is, please vote yes. So it was an incredible job by Dr. Dent and her staff, incredible job by the PAC team, including this gentleman right here. And he isn't a product of the Sumner-Bonney Lake School District. He's a product of the Tacoma School District, but still he's a product of public education. And he's one of the examples of what can happen when you go through a system, and that's our future. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I'll just no. I'll just say ditto. That's all. Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill, I don't know if you've heard, you said some really nice things about our superintendent. I don't know if you've heard that she is superintendent of the year. I don't know if that's word has been out yet. So she's a pretty amazing leader to have around here leading this other amazing team. And she just got back from San Diego where she was top 10, I believe, in like the nation. That's pretty amazing, right? She wouldn't let us dress her up with sashes or tiaras. So this is what we got. Not many people can say that, so we're pretty lucky to have your leadership here in Sumner-Bonney Lake. Do you have any comments?
Don't forget about this. Don't forget about the STEM fair this Saturday, 10 to 2, Sumner Middle School. Should be a lot of fun.
Thank you.
I think our girls are playing basketball in the morning and in the evening too. So you could just make a day of it if you'd like.
Lots of good stuff going on. Board member comments. Anyone have anything? Yeah.
I should have wrote down a list so I could remember all of the things that have occurred in late January and through February. Feels like I've been to a lot, and I still missed a lot. That's how much activity was going on throughout the district. I was able to go to 2 different STEM fair nights at an elementary school, and then the other one was Lake Ridge Middle School. I enjoyed them. I mean, at Lake Ridge, each event at Victor Falls and then at Lake Ridge, it was a full house. When I got there, the parking lot was pretty full. Inside, lots of parents, grandparents, kids, all excited about what they'd been working on in class. Of course, some of these kids are not going to be going to the STEM fair, the district-wide STEM fair, but to be able to see that and really watch the competitions that they had and the energy was just a lot of fun. I mean, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make it to the STEM fair. I know my daughter is working. I ski on the weekends. So I might go to the STEM fair and then head up to skiing,
but I did want to make sure I went to those 2 events, and I think there were more. So as you will see, as this goes around, how many more events there really were. So thank you, Aaron.
All right. Winter sports, not only the high school, the middle school, and I have no elementary kids in that, but just some fantastic results, lots and lots of kids involved. And I really want to thank for all of us, the coaches, the athletic directors, and the group that sometimes gets forgotten, and that's the administrators who spend unbelievable hours, especially during the winter sports out there. I also want to thank the administration and staff who are helping with transition activities. Believe it or not, we're already in the season of working on transitioning to next year. So while we're trying to finish this year, and it feels like we're still before Christmas at times, there's all those activities going on. It takes a lot of effort and time, and I really want to thank people for that. And then last, I wanted to thank my fellow board members and Dr. Dent for their support and encouragement. I feel like an old puppy. I'm new at this, but I'm old. And just to watch from this side, the passion, dedication, and effort by these folks is just amazing. So I want to thank all of them for everything.
We're glad you're here, Bill. Like Paul, I should have written a list, I think, of the different things that we've attended recently. So I probably won't speak to all of them because I know we've double dipped on some things. So you can maybe hit them up too. But I attended the STEM fair activity at the Early Learning Center briefly, cut like the last 30 minutes. And it was darling and a beautiful building and kids excited and learning. And that was lovely. And then I was able to pop over to Victor Falls's curriculum night to see all the great work that's being done in the district. I love talking to teachers and administrators who are truly just so passionate about what they're teaching. They're so excited to share what they're doing in their classrooms. So of course, that's always a highlight for me. And then, are you going to talk about today? I won't talk about today. If you don't. So today we had the opportunity to go and tour the STEM or the CTE programs at both high schools. And you kind of hear different things that are happening with robotics and shop and all these things, but to actually see them in action and be in these rooms where these children, well, young adults really are able to learn and collaborate and have these experiences. Like I didn't have that, growing up, and the opportunities that they have to go learn how to manufacture and get, high school credit for it and then move right into a job at Boeing. Like it blows my mind. The opportunities that are in this district and the resources that are available to them. I thought that was really amazing. We also got to tour the culinary department at both schools, but the one that stuck out to me the most was Bonnie Lake High School. It was just a connection for me because I had spent a few hours at Good Roots Northwest yesterday with Stacy and learning about all the different ways they're partnering with our school district and how they're using an abundance of food. Perhaps they might have a lot of oats or something, and they will send it over to Bonnie Lake High School, and their culinary department will develop recipes and package them all and send them back and then back out into our community. And so it was literally, I thought I was going to be there for an hour. I ended up being 3 hours. And it was just constant, nonstop stories and partnerships and volunteers. And it was a really beautiful experience. And then to be able to see it the next day in action in our schools was pretty cool. So I'll stop there. I think I did a couple other things too, but I'll pass it off to Deb.
So you guys pretty much hit everything that I was going to say. But I will tell you that I'm really, really looking forward to the STEM big program they're going to have this Saturday. My husband always comes with me because, he's not a scientist, but he thinks he is. And he's a pharmacist. But and I might mention that he's a compounding pharmacist, which makes him a chemist. And he always likes to visit Miss Martinez from Bonnie Lake because she actually uses a lot of the same tools that he has in a pharmacy. And so anyway, he's coming also, as usual. And the other thing is the artwork I'd like to think it's a STEAM program, but you know, it's a little bit separate, and the artwork there is just incredible. So I'm looking forward to that again. So that's it.
Well, I since I get to go last, like I do have a list, because as you were all talking and saying you didn't have a list, I started writing a list because I had the benefit of a few extra minutes. But I'll run through the list and just the things that have been going on since the last board meeting that I've attended, and I know that I've even missed some things. I've attended several capital facilities meetings where citizens from around the area are coming together to talk about what our district needs from a building standpoint for a future bond. And instead of the district figuring out the priorities, we're actually engaging citizens in that conversation to make sure that all different viewpoints are being accounted for, you know, not just what we want as a district, but what do our citizens want. Attended both the SHS and the Bonnie Lake High School Pack the Gym events, which is our Special Olympics basketball team. And if you want to see some aggressive basketball, I'm not kidding. Like, they play with all their heart and they are so excited, and it's actually a really fun thing to watch. And especially the students that come out to support them. Normally at a basketball game, you would have the other players stand and the players run through them. They had students form on each side for the entire gym and all the way around for each player to run through, and make them feel extremely special the way they should be. So those two events. Attended the SHS play this weekend, which was a cool top hits of all the plays that they've done recently. And so we got a song and a section of each of those plays, and it was just really cool to just hit all the highlights. You know, you go to lots of plays and you see it, but to pull out all the highlights, I thought was a really cool format for them to do. And we just have some phenomenal singers and actors and actresses and tap dancing, and just everything they did was phenomenal. We had the board state of the district breakfast where our administration brought in people from around the district, citizens, to hear what's going on. You know, what is going on in their school district, so people can have an insight. You know, you live it every day, but it was a chance for everybody to come in, and people in the community that have the ability to form partnerships to be like, oh, hey, you're so and so from this organization. Well, I'm from this organization. All of a sudden, there's a connection. And all of a sudden you have oats moving from one building to another, and recipes going back out to help feed the people in our community that need some food. Curriculum nights were mentioned. We did 2 of those. I think those are great opportunities for parents to come in and actually look at our curriculum. I mean, it's there. They can come in, they can look at it, they can find out what's in it. What our students are learning. Some upcoming things. Before I get to that, I will talk about the CTE tour today. Was incredible, both at Bonnie Lake High School and Sumner High School. And the one thing that there was a lot that we saw, but you touched on some of it. The one thing that I thought was really cool was a couple of students came out of a class and explained to us how they're learning through their semester in this class how to budget. They get a paycheck. They have a computer system that every month they get paid. They have to decide what bills they're going to pay, their student loan debt, their cable bill, their electricity bill. They have to purchase a car in this simulation, and the cars that are available to them either have good gas mileage and more expensive, or there's offsets. So they learn the trade-offs of budgeting. I mean, how many times as adults we said, gosh, I wish kids would learn how to pay their taxes and learn how to do that. Well, in this class, they learn how to do their taxes, not TurboTax. They do it by hand. And they learn how to do it on the form and fill it in. And I was just blown away that these students are learning the concept of choosing a car, not just based on gas mileage or price, but based on what it's going to cost them to insure it. And I think a lot of kids, when they're buying their first car, they don't even think about that. They're just like, I want that car because it's cool and it's red and it has a big engine. And they don't realize that's going to cost you more in insurance. But this class, I was just blown away that all the things we talk about, we wish kids would learn, they're learning it. And they're going to come out being fiscally responsible right out of high school, not just with a job at Boeing, but understanding how to balance that paycheck when the money starts coming in, and it looks like a lot of money, but it really isn't at the end of the month. So I thought that was pretty cool. There was a lot of things we saw that blew my mind, but 2 upcoming events I wanted to highlight.
We have the SHS benefit night at 6 p.m. on Friday over here at the high school that benefits a local family who lost their mother due to cancer this fall and left her husband 3 children, and they could use all the support that we can give them to help take care of them. So that's happening Friday night. And then Saturday is the STEM fair at SMS at 10 a.m. And I just want to say that seeing what's going on in our district shows me that what I learned on the CT tours is that our students are not waiting until they get to college in the second year of college, figuring out what they want to be when they grow up. They're figuring it out right now. They're figuring it out in their junior and senior year, or they're testing different things. I heard today when students were telling us why they were taking a certain class, I'd say half of them were said, this isn't a career that I think I'm going to take, but I wanted to sample it to see if it was. And so they're learning through these processes what they want to be when they grow up much sooner than historically has happened. And I think that's going to give our students coming out of Sumner-Bonney Lake District a big lead over anybody else. So yeah, sorry, that was very long, but I did have a list. So
Kevin, you're making me think of that strategic plan in action, right? Preparing kids for post high school. And just to add on to that, when one of our former Special Olympic Splanther players, I got to see him in action working at the market, and you know, he's employed and has a 401k. And I just think, oh my gosh, that is literally the promise in action. So thank you for triggering that. I mean, it was a 3-hour trip. I can't say all the things that happened, but that was one that I wanted to make sure I communicated as well. It was pretty impressive and amazing. So thank you. Anything else? All right. Do we need to take a break? All right, we're gonna go ahead and just take a 5-minute break, and then we'll head right into audience comments at, let's say, 6:35. All right.
Hey, in case you're wondering what CTE is, it's Career and Technical Education. That's what it stands for.
Reconvene. We're at the point of our agenda for audience comments. David, are you ready to kick us off?
I am.
Thank you.
Good evening. The board recognizes the value of public comment on education issues and the importance of involving members of the public in its meetings. Comments from the public are taken under board advisement and may or may not receive action at future meetings. Topics including charges or complaints against employees, employment or dismissal of personnel, acquisition of real estate, lawyer-client relationships, campaigning, and parameters for negotiations should not be discussed in audience comments. Other information, questions, or problems can usually be addressed by district staff. The audience comment period will end when all registered speakers have been heard. We ask that everyone adhere and understand the following guidelines. In order to maintain respect for all points of view, the school board requests no clapping, booing, or any other form of support or non-support be used. The board will not respond to comments, but will take them under advisement. Speakers should be courteous and professional. Please refrain from using profanity, vulgar language, threatening or defamatory comments. As a reminder, individuals are not permitted to name a specific staff member, board member, or student during public comments. Failure to do so may result in the board president or designee interrupting or ending the comment. The audience comment process is as follows. Speakers who registered by noon yesterday will be heard. If you're providing in-person public comment, when your name is called, please come to the podium and state your name. Please address comments to the school board as a whole. Individuals have 3 minutes to speak, and I will signal speakers with the bell when 1 minute remains. Our first audience comment is from Terry McCoy.
First, I just want to say how deeply I appreciate the staff comments, your comments, because it gives a real beautiful picture of a lot of things that are going well. So thank you. Hi, I'm Terry Mahoy. Good evening, Dr. Dent and school district directors. In Sumner-Bonney Lake School District, how clear is the message not only being presented, but actually taught and supported that children belong to their families and not the state, the teachers, the school system, the unions, or any other bureaucrat? Parents are the primary responsible adults in the life and upbringing of their children. It's the extremely rare parent that isn't doing everything possible in the upbringing of their children to support, encourage, provide, and raise them to be law abiding, intelligent, compassionate, multi talented, and successful citizens. It's also the extremely rare parent who doesn't care deeply about the safety of their children. More and more families are pulling their kids from schools in our district. Why? As much as parents and the majority of the citizens in this community want to believe in our schools and want them to succeed, many are beginning to question, is that actually happening? Are kids being pulled from our schools because our system is failing them? Over half the children in our district are failing in math and reading. Are kids being pulled from our public schools because of some teachers and or some counselors teaching the kids home isn't safe and their parents aren't to be trusted, but teachers and counselors are the trusted adults and school is the safe place to be? Yet is it? All students who walk through the doors of our schools must experience intellectual safety, emotional safety, safety of conscience, and physical safety. All students are worthy of being protected. All students are equal, not born equal due to obvious facts, but of equal worth and value. The beautiful truth is all students are created equal. All students are to be safe in our schools. Whenever I give an audience comment, I also state that our district does amazing things and many, many things well. Yet it's clear that we have areas of improvement. What needs to happen in our schools so students are not failing in math, reading, or comprehension? And what needs to happen so parents can trust that our teachers and counselors are not undermining or circumventing the responsibilities and authority of parents? Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next audience comment is from Donna Oraves.
Good evening. My name is Donna Oraves, and I better get my glasses on. And I hate to be a downer right now after all the good things I've heard tonight, and there are a lot of great things, like Terry said, going on, but here goes. You have listened to me many times advocating for our state constitution's law to teach basic academics free from sectarian ideologies, some of which have proven over time as very harmful, especially to children. I would guess that you, the board members and superintendent, are aware that there's much debate and some lawsuits against school districts for mental and physical harm from transgender affirmation and poor academic performance. The data on the state OSPE website indicates the percentage of students in the Sumner School District who met grade level standards for English are 66%, pretty good, math 52%, and science 55%. It's not the greatest report card. I visited the Sumner School District website today and noted that the vote in favor of the levies was 61 and 64% approval, which does mean 39% disapproval and 36% disapproval. We do know that more money does not translate to higher scores. I sincerely hope that this vote count will encourage the board to end bad and harmful policies that take away time and effort in improving test scores for all Sumner School District students. Do you realize how many more families would remove their kids from Sumner schools if they could afford to? Paying school taxes plus private tuition is impossible for most families. Wouldn't it be great if you concentrated on academic learning and safe school environment that all would want for their kids in the Sumner schools? All parents want that. It will be tough to turn things around. You will have to fight the state and unions. Are you up for it? Our state legislatures are putting out bills to unconstitutionally require districts to include certain curriculum or lose state funding. If passed, those laws will take away your rights as school board members to choose the curriculum that is best for your students. I hope you don't receive these comments as just complaining, but as parents and grandparents working alongside you to encourage you to make the best decisions for our kids. I love my grandkids and I grieve because of the harmful ideology promoted and mandated by our state, which in turn takes time away from academic learning. We need to stand up and speak out against what the state, OSPE, and school unions are doing. Wouldn't it be wonderful if all parents felt good about sending their kids to public school? Thank you.
Thank you. Our final audience comment is from Teresa McClymans.
Hello, everyone. Oh my, this is so low too. I think, okay, I just, how do I do this? Let's see. Hello, can I do this? Is that all right? Okay, my name is Teresa and I've spoken quite a few times because I care about our community. I care about the children. We've been here in Bonnie Lake for 24 years now. And yeah, a lot of things have changed with the public school education since I was a little kid. And I totally agree with the other speakers here. OSPI scores are too low, and our taxes now are even higher. And it should have been actually 100% that would have voted for the schools. You know, I mean, you got a beautiful building. If you didn't get the funds, what would happen to that? I mean, what stress you carried, right? But is the focus, what's the focus? The focus, in my opinion, should be the 3 R's: reading, writing, arithmetic, right? And why are the test scores all throughout our state and even the nation so low? I mean, Sumner-Bonney Lake is highest that I perused today. Okay. We're at 67 for language arts, 53 and 56 in science. And then only 69% of the kids are attending at 90% of days attended. So the attendance is so low. Puyallup's at 44 for reading, 32 for math, 41 for science. Tacoma, 43, 28, 34. Auburn, 43, 32, and 33. I mean, those are incredibly low scores. Why? What are we here for? What are we paying our taxes for? The confidence that a child will have is because they are competent in reading, in writing, in sciences. So I would recommend that the school focuses, all the schools focus on the 3 R's and get out of the industry for the feelings and what your belief system is. Because for a lot of people, that's offensive. You're messing with the minds and the hearts of the children. Those are the parental rights issues. Yours should be get them reading, get them writing, so they can do the cool things that are so amazing that we heard today.
Thank you.
Not every kid can do that because the 3 R's.
Thank you. That concludes our audience comments. Thank you.
We're going to move into policy matters for information only. This is for first reading. We have 2 policies listed, 2410 and 2413, as well as 4 procedures there. Again, this is for first reading for information only. Moving into business matters, the first recommendation, the district administration recommends approval of the site assessment access agreement to provide for due diligence evaluation by the district engineering team of a potential new middle school site in Tahale. Do I have a motion to approve this recommendation? Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I'll say something. I think it's very proactive of the district to be in a financial position that allows us to have money from the general fund to look into purchasing land for a future middle school. And I just think that it speaks to the strength of our finances and our vision of what we need in the future instead of waiting till it's too late. So I appreciate the ability to do this.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. We have a resolution. The district administration recommends approval of resolution number 14-2324, emergency procurement waiver to authorize the Sumner-Bonney Lake School District to waive statutory requirements related to competitive bidding in an event of an emergency. Do I have a motion to approve this recommendation?
So moved.
Do I hear a second? Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Also for information only, the budget status report for December 31st is included in your packet. And this brings us to the February budget update. Chief Financial, Bang, welcome. Sorry. Welcome, Bang. Thank you. You're going to present the February budget update to the board.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Board of Directors, Superintendents, tonight I am providing you some information about our budget calendar, our budget process, and some legislative update. So you already have a copy of that calendar. Every year we provide you the calendars. That's a full calendar page. We follow this calendar while we are developing our budget. So we start with the legislative sessions in January 8th. It will be end in March 7th. So it's only short sessions this year, the second year of the biennial budget. So there's not a lot of things they can work on because it's so short. And also, even though the forecast, the February forecast revenue in the state coming in very good, positive, but I don't think they have an appetite really allocate a lot of money for K-12. We also start very early for our enrollment projection, like December, clean up, do everything. We finished that enrollment projection. We're going to update you on that. And also we finished up the staffing as well. Just finished up this morning or afternoon. So we are on schedule. Everything's on schedule so far. So I'm sure we will wrap up budget by the time we go to the public hearing and adopt it. So enrollment projection, this we call about this year, but actually next year, it's going to be flat. We don't have a lot of new constructions. I think probably because interest rates very high, construction's not really picking up much. And also maybe a pandemic that the birth rate's very low and declining. And percentage of the kindergarten come to Sumner-Bonney Lake School Districts also decline as well. So this year we are short of 30 kindergarten kids as we normally projected. So it's very unusual. In the past, it wasn't like that. The patterns kind of changed. So anyway, that enrollment projection is flat in a couple years in the future. So there's several bills. Initially, we were thinking, okay, we need to watch these bills. But these couple of days, the House and the Senate already released their budget. They're similar, but they are far apart, both. So they still have 15 days to reconcile each other to finalize the budget for this coming years. The first one, they are still working on that, still alive. The second one, 6123, pretty much dead by now. So as the 1741, that section's not going well. And special ed, Paul, I know you're really working on this, and you mentioned that you're disappointed because they are not really fund us the unit cost of the raise of each section for the special ed, but they increase the cap, which is only benefit a handful of districts. We are still under 13%. Now they are raising from 13.5 to 15 to 17. That's a proposal, but it doesn't help any of us. So it's kind of disappointed in that end. Of course, the simple majority of the bond is, we've been going on this for so many years. As for simple majority, or even higher to 55%, but those are basically not really going anywhere. they're not budge on that. And then the levy basically is just that one. People transportation, a little bit disappointed because they are talking about several different things, maybe just reimburse 100% of the special passenger, which is they are ongoing doing this since last year's. But then they also propose to have health benefit and retirement for the contract bus drivers. That's not what we have. We don't have contract on with the third party. We have our own, so we already have a cover. So it really not impact us as much, but then it will increase the contract cost for other districts who contract out the transportation. So I think the zero emission bus is still on, still okay. So as the 60-31, but not go too far, those bill. So finally, I want to update you a little bit of the ESSER fund, because this is to the end of the ESSER fund. Finish up this year, we will be done with all the ESSERs. Currently, we still have one more ESSER fund going on, and it's going to be end. It will be finished up the daffodils, schools, chiller, and transportation M&O HVAC system. And that's all that will be finished. Any question?
Thank you, Bing. Any questions from the board?
I have one.
Deb?
So, Bing, I was just wondering if, for those that are in the audience that don't know what the ESSER fund is, maybe you could just explain very, very briefly. Thank you.
ESSER fund basically is due to the COVID time. Federal give us some fund to make sure that we use the fund for safety, student safety, for air quality. So we use it very efficiently to make sure that the air quality is good, so it won't be spread germs and things like that. So that's a basic reason why we get those funds. Yeah.
Paul?
I don't really have a question tonight, Bang, so you're off the hook. But
That's surprising.
you know, you did highlight special education, and I don't think the public realizes how underfunded it is.
Oh yeah.
Just to give a point, you know, we have the safety net, and that's where under state laws and regulations, federal, state, and court decisions, we spend lots of money that we don't get from the state. And then afterwards, we have a safety net where our staff spends a lot of time to prepare justification for all the expense, to go back to the state to say, could we get some of this money back And this is money that comes out of the levies that we just passed.
Yeah.
And that could be going for other things. And this is a big number. And to give you an idea, we just had on the consent agenda, it was a special services contract for 2 students that was approximately $250,000.
Yeah.
The state does not provide 125,000 per student for a special ed student. And so again, not every special ed student is $125,000, but it gives you an idea that there are special cases that require a lot of money. And that's money that comes out of our levies because that's what we have to do. And then we have to go and beg from the state to get that recovered. I don't know anybody who thinks that's a good system. So anyway, I just wanted to say that so that the public could understand the full gravity of what you pointed out.
So we have, I think when last several times that I have the presentation that talk about several years of the enrollment for special ed and then how much we spend. The first year I come here, we probably spend a little bit like 2 million more than we get funded. And then gradually going to 4 million, and now it's about 7 million. We keep like adding and adding. We don't know who's coming, right? The kids coming to us, we absolutely need to serve, no doubt. But you don't know the severity. You don't know what they need. And the safety net do not 100% reimburse all the high need kids. We apply, but then they will say, oh, we can give this, or we don't give this. So whatever differences, that will be coming from our levy money to pay for the differences.
I just have one more comment. And I've expressed this before in the past, you know, that these are our most vulnerable kids, really. Yeah. And somebody after the meeting had talked to me and said, actually, if you've ever worked with a family of special needs kids, these are the most vulnerable families. And I think that's powerful. So.
Thank you, Paul. Any other questions?
Thanks, Paul. Thank you, Bing.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to move into instructional materials adoption. I believe we have people here to present some information about those materials. Thank you for coming.
Well, good evening, Dr. Dent and school board members. It's great to be here, and it's my pleasure to introduce to you a special member of our team. This is Miss Kara Wilson, and she's going to be presenting to you tonight. This is her second year as part of the instructional services team in the secondary world up there. She is a TOSA on special assignment, and she helps support math, science, health, and intervention. So please welcome Kara Wilson.
Thank you, Cassie. This is my first time in front of you, so I'm a little nervous, but I'm really excited to be here to talk to you about our high school math adoption and the process and the reasons that we went through this. So, a little background information. Algebra 1 and geometry are taught at all 3 middle schools and both high schools. Algebra 2 is offered at both high schools. Every year, nearly 2,900 students take one of these courses in our district. So this adoption had an impact on a ton of kids and will continue to have adoption impact on a ton of kids. Some reasons for the need to adopt. All of our staff and administration know that our test scores are not where we would like them to be. And we are all passionate and driven to change this in our district and for our kiddos. When our previous adoption happened, the Common Core state standards were new. And so I wasn't part of the team, but I hear there was like 3 that were aligned with the Common Core state standards, and they weren't well aligned as well as they could have been because everything was new. So when we did this adoption, there was a ton of new curriculum available, and we were able to choose from, I think, almost a dozen. Really well aligned, really well supported curriculums. So in addition to needing to improve our student learning outcomes, we have a diverse range of students who take these courses, all the way from 7th grade advanced students to struggling learners in 11th grade. So in order to gauge the needs of these diverse students, we sent out a student survey to 7th through 12th graders. More than 1,000 students participated in it, and it gave us a really clear understanding of what they want for their curriculum, for their books. They expressed that they would like their math curriculum to be engaging and have a variety of supports such as written detailed examples, solved problems, videos to watch, and more. We also clearly heard from the parent on our committee that parents too play a critical role in supporting their children. And the parent on our committee expressed a desire for materials that would help parents support their students at home. I have a 3-year-old, so I don't have to deal with that yet, but yeah, thanks. Our committee, we had representation from both high schools and 1 middle school teacher on our team. We had assistant principals and principals from both high schools, as well as central office administration participate. We had 1 current high school student participate, and she was amazing. The teachers actually were begging me to sit with her at the tables because she had such great insight. And then we had a community member who is a local business owner. She's a parent of a current high school, Bonney Lake High School student and a graduate from Bonney Lake High School. And actually, while we were going through this process, she was elected to the Bonney Lake City Council. So based on our student, staff, and community feedback, we came up with a vision statement for our high school math, Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2 team. And so you see in the middle that we have success in mathematics. And obviously SBA scores, passing SBA and passing your classes is a measure of success in math. But we also wanted students to walk away with real world relevance and application of mathematical concepts, skills to persevere and problem solve that prepare them for future careers and success, and the belief that regardless of differing cultural backgrounds, gender, abilities, and experiences, they are mathematicians and can do math. Sorry, I'm getting goosebumps because I'm a math teacher, so this is like my passion. Our student committee member was a great addition to our team because she was able to offer wonderful perspectives on her and her classmates' math experience and learning styles and needs. Our review process. So as I said, there was a ton of available resources. We at Instructional Services culled them down to a small handful that were the best of the best. We brought those ones to the team for analysis. They chose a couple different chapters to look at in each so that they were comparing apples to apples. We used a rubric that we evaluated all 3 curriculum on teacher support or teacher instructional strategies and support, student support, and evaluation of bias. The team then narrowed it down to 2. And then they were further evaluated on rigor and the included assessments. And then each committee member voted on their first and second choice for adoption. The results were a unanimous vote for into AGA from Houghton, Mifflin, Harcourt. There was a multitude of reasons why the team felt that this would be the best fit for our students and their staff, but the 3 that were the most important to them was the explicit quality of supports for various learners, including our multi-language students, our students with our IEPs and 504s, our advanced like 7th and 8th graders taking algebra and geometry, and struggling learners. It also has a wide variety of tasks that require different depths of understanding and authentic supports for response to intervention. Thank you for your time. Do you have any questions?
Well done.
Thank you.
First presentation. Nice job. Any questions, comments?
Kara, thank you very much. And I'm not going to ask a question, but I am going to make a comment. I liked the fact that you said the parent on the group said her desire was that she could help her student at home.
Yeah.
And as a parent struggling with their kid at home, that has been lacking so much. I remember working through math with my own parents as a kid. They didn't struggle like we struggled. I was fortunate. My wife is in education. She could help my daughter. I would go over to my daughter and say, let me show you how to do that. Oh, you're doing it wrong. And it ruined the whole night. And of course, I think math scores they're higher in our district, but they're not where they need to be. And I'm glad you guys recognize that. And, but man, that needs to be coined, that parents desire the ability to help their kids at home.
Yeah. And this one's got really great supports for parents. They're really exciting.
Awesome. Thank you for the summary. Appreciate that. All right. Next up, we have Director of Athletics, Brian Kalen. Welcome. Yeah, update on the athletics department. Lots going on, right?
Yeah, lots going on. So I'm not going to touch on everything or we'd be here all night. So I'm just going to focus on a few things. So good evening, directors of the board and Dr. Dent. Thank you for the opportunity to provide a Sumner-Bonney Lake School District Athletic Department update. Last year, I provided an update on several areas of the athletic department and how they were related to the strategic plan. This year, I'm going to focus on how education-based athletics support our Sumner-Bonney Lake School District promise and provide an update on progress related to the goals that were set for the athletic department. So with that, I will jump into the presentation. I hit the right button, so that's a good start. So our promise, you know, we've seen that a lot, no value support and helping student achieve, you know, graduate ready to pursue a promising future. And I'm a strong believer that athletics and activities play a huge role in that. So, and I'll speak to that throughout the presentation. So how education-based athletics support our promise. You know, there's some stuff, I'm not going to read through all those bullets, but, you know, the first one, tend to have higher GPAs, better attendance records, lower dropout rates, and fewer discipline problems. You know, they teach a lot of life skills that you can't learn anywhere else. You know, the classroom obviously is the most important, but there's things that you can learn on the field and court that you can't learn anywhere else, and it speaks to that a little bit. The one thing that I always come back to is it provides an incentive for many of our students, because some students just, you know, have the inner drive, but others, they really need something to push them. And that was the way I was when I was in school, and I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for athletics and activities. So very important. And the other thing in this community, you see it all the time, it's a sense of pride. You know, it's a sense of pride to represent your school and community in a positive way. And you go out to our parades and things, you know, in the fall for homecoming, and you see the pride not only by the student athletes and the coaches, but the community as well. And it's you know, it's kind of a window to the school. I always say, you know, a lot of people, that's their only interaction with our schools is the athletic program. So it's really important. And we stress that with our coaches and our student athletes. So, and it supports the academic mission of the school and our promise. So some athletic department goals were set. It's been a few years ago, but reduce the number of student athletes who do not meet grade standards. We want our kids to meet eligibility standards, and increase the number of participants in athletic programs. So I'll speak to those. Before I do so, just want to touch on athletic eligibility to give a sense of what students need to do to be eligible to participate in interscholastic athletics. You must have a minimum of 2.0 GPA and pass all classes. And I want to mention, as you know, that's more strict than the WI requirements. WI requirements only require 5 out of 6. So we expect more of our student athletes. So, and then obviously they need to complete all the registration requirements, you know, online registration, physicals, things like that, purchase ASBs, pay fines, fees, etc. And there's ways that, you know, if students can't pay, we work with them on those things. And then, you know, I just touch on our several times throughout this presentation, I touch on our athletic webpage. We won't have to click on that because a lot of stuff, you know, I'll ask Roger maybe occasionally to click on it, but this time I won't because the slide follows here. So goal 1, strategies. How do we get more kids eligible? The one thing we're really focusing on this year is communicating the requirements, because for a while it seemed like it was a mystery, and we don't want mysteries to people. We want to make sure that they're aware of what's required and what are the consequences if they don't meet the standards. So worked with the athletic coordinators this year and created athletic eligibility documents for both middle and high school. And these documents list the requirements and procedures for grade checks for each season. So we go real in depth on each document, you know, what are the requirements initially and what are the requirements for each season, because there are differences with the WI, not the requirements, but with the penalties if you're not meeting the requirements for each season. So we're going to add these to our website. I found out as I was preparing for this presentation, they weren't on there. So called Elle's office and we're working on that. And then we also communicate the expectations through Final Forms, our athletic registration platform, send out emails, you know, grade checks are upcoming. Here's the expectations. Here's the consequences for not meeting those expectations. So with that, you know, we're starting to make some good progress. The number of high school students not meeting standard in the fall of 22-23, you can see the statistics up there. 1.9% of the students weren't meeting standards. So 98.1% were, and the numbers are there for 13 and 658. And then this fall, we reduced that to 1.7 not meeting standards. You know, there wasn't a huge, 13 to 12, but still it's progress, and 98.3 are meeting standards. And one thing as we were developing, I was working on this presentation, I met with Dr. Met, and he's like, your goals need to be more positive. Let's focus on getting them to meet standards, not, the ones that can't meet standards. So in the future, new goal will be 100% of our student athletes meeting standards, which matches up with our 100% graduation goal. So goal 2 strategies, how do we get more kids to participate? So we want to have a wide variety of options for them because they have a lot of diverse interests. And we know that because we survey our students via the Title IX surveys and whatnot each year. And we listen to the kids, the students, what do they want? So with that, there's an athletics overview section of our website. Again, I won't click on that because it basically shows what we offer each season. So for high school, fall, you see the listings up there, winter and spring. And I did want to touch on girls bowling this year because that's a new sport for us. Thank you for the support from the board and, all the different departments. We added girls bowling. And that bowler right there is a 9th grader at Bonney Lake High School. She's our first ever state participant in bowling. So she'll go down in history, Jaden Thayer, and she finished 3rd place in the state tournament her first year as a 9th grader. So we're obviously expecting big things from her in the future. And she would have never had this experience had we not had the support and added bowling. So, those are the types of things that we focus on. We want to offer a wide variety of offerings so that we can meet all students' needs. So in the middle school season offerings, there's 4 seasons. Those are listed there. And I just wanted to mention cross country. Again, listening to our students, for a while it was just girls cross country, and the boys were like, well, why can't we do cross country? So we listened to them and we worked with the league, and now we offer a co-ed cross country. So both of them get to do that in season 4. So goal 2 progress, are we getting more kids to participate? Yes. The answer is yes. We're getting more kids to participate post-COVID. And I just used some data from Final Forms to show that number of students registered has gone up from 2223 to 2366 to 2324, 2408. Again, not a huge increase, but the goal is to keep increasing or staying at least somewhat constant. And there's additional data available in Final Forms that breaks down who's participating by gender and race and things like that. So that it's good data tool for us that we can use in the future. Just some additional information, coaches and staff. We have 209 coaches registered in Final Forms. So that's district wide. So a lot of coaches in the district. That includes volunteers and paid coaches. And the other benefit to education-based athletics is that, we make our coaches go through a lot of training and a lot of requirements, meet a lot of requirements before they're cleared to coach, where, community programs, they don't always do that. So we take pride in that, and we want to make sure that, our coaches are trained and provide good instruction for our athletes. So we work with our HR department, Final Forms, to make sure, they're meeting the requirements. And then there's a whole list of requirements in that document. And it's pretty daunting when you look at the document, our coaches look at it. And the good part is, though, we're trying to break it down, and they only have to do certain requirements each year. Like some requirements are good for 3 years and 2 years. And that wasn't always the case. We had them do everything every year, and they were just like, it's too much. So we're working with them to try to streamline the requirements and, just kind of space them out from year to year. And I just wanted to say we have amazing coaches and other staff members that fulfill our promise on a daily basis. And I'll touch on that a little bit more there. So Catherine Elliott right there is the Sumner High School gymnastics coach, and she's holding an award that they won earlier this year. And we have several gymnasts, both at Bonney Lake and Sumner, competing this weekend. And to be honest, I think Sumner has a good chance to win the state championship in gymnastics. So, and we have a ton of Bonney Lake girls as well. So that's pretty exciting. So what is working well? Again, the student survey, interest survey data shows that we are offering the equitable access to the most desired programs, and participation numbers do continue to increase. And then in addition to outstanding coaches, advisors, we have so many layers. There's so many people that contribute to the athletic program. Athletic coordinators, building support staff, building administrators, as was mentioned earlier tonight, district support staff, athletic trainers, event staff that work the events. They're out there every night, just for not a whole lot of money, just doing it to support the kids. And they form positive relationships. The kids come through the gate at football games and they know the people at the gate and they're high-fiving, and it's pretty cool to see. So they all serve as role models and help fulfill our promise. So other things that are working well, our students continue to thrive in the classroom and on the field and court, but in the classroom, those statistics up there, 19 fall teams, the high school level earned the WI Outstanding Team Award for team GPAs of 3.5 to 4. So that's a team. So that takes teamwork. And I think it was mentioned earlier tonight, cheer won the academic state championship. And I believe Sumner Swim also won the academic state championship this winter. So 4 fall teams earned the distinguished for 3.0 to 3.5. And then there's a list that kind of lists all the coaches and all the winners in that document, as well as the following document that lists not only academic accomplishments, but all kinds of great things that our athletes and teams are doing as well. And if I talked about those, we'd be here all night. So, and that's another session maybe. So again, and other things that are working well, the Final Forms platform is streamlining registration, hopefully making it user-friendly for families, and also just providing useful information related to our programs. Like this year, it helped presenting this or preparing for this presentation, and as we use it more and learn to use it more, it'll provide even more data. And then there's obviously a high level support is provided for our programs by all the district departments. Again, it takes a whole team to make sure to, make an athletic program work, from the business office, transportation, HR, you as a board, and Dr. Dent, and in each of our communities. And there's a lot of people in this room that make things happen. So appreciate all that. Some areas of focus, we want to continue to refine our procedures to support our ever-growing programs. We can always do better. Monitor use of Final Forms platform, and again, use all of its features. Continue working with HR to streamline the hiring process. Develop positive relationships with stakeholders. And then refine our middle school athletics model to increase efficiencies with participation numbers. So our middle school programs continue to grow, and we just want to make sure that we're providing good programs for those participants. So we're going to continue to work on that with middle school athletic coordinators and administration. And then look for ways to better serve our underrepresented populations and remove barriers. One thing that came up this year is some of our students were having a hard time getting physicals. So Dr. Dent, she realized that, and she was like, we need to change that. So it's been kind of a frustrating process. It's not as easy as you think, but I think we're making progress. And our district nurse, Corey Wiseman, is working with a local provider, and it looks like we might be able to provide physicals either at low cost and maybe even on campus, hopefully starting this spring. So that would be a huge way to remove a barrier. And then just explore opportunities for professional development for coaches. Again, we provide the training each year, but I think we can even improve and provide them with more effective training. So just our promise in action, these coaches were selected as whole child heroes. So, and these are just a small number of coaches. We could have nominated a ton more, but these are the ones that were nominated and won. So just a few pictures there. And again, they fulfill our promise every day. So with that, that is all I have. And so concludes the presentation. I'm open to questions or any comments.
Brian, thank you. A lot of good stuff going on right now. Any questions or comments for Brian?
I just used Final Forms the other day. Thumbs up. Worked great.
Good. Yep. It's nice to have all one platform because you get to learn it as a middle school parent and then it transfers. So
that's
thank
helpful.
you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move into board discussion. Anyone have anything for discussion this evening? Okay, I want to let the board know that I've received a letter from Deb Norris stating her resignation from the board effective March 21st. So that one's actually painful to say out loud, but we'll have more words later, I'm sure. But I wanted to let you know that I've received that. So we'll take action on that next month. And I mean, we take action. We could say no, but yeah. So, and we'll celebrate and remember and all the good things.
Oh, great. I'm already scheming. I bet you are.
Yeah. So, All right, anything else this evening? We have our next regularly scheduled board meeting for March 20th. At this time, we're going to move into executive session for the purpose of evaluating the qualifications of an applicant for public employment or to review the performance of a public employee. We do not expect any action following the executive session, and I'm going to say probably 30 minutes. All right. Good evening. Thank you for joining us.